Welcome, everyone, to District Disruptors podcast. This is our first episode. We are so excited. My name is Violet.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Randa. And Natalie.
We are four moms with one mission, and we would like to talk a little bit about our purpose for starting this podcast. And Jamie, do you want to?
Absolutely. So this has been in the works for a really long time, and I'm so excited that we're finally here. But let me start with why we came up with District Disruptors, the name.
Yeah.
It was truly, we're not disrupting any specific district. It's not a negative thing. It is the special education system is broken, and we are disrupting it.
Correct.
Because we cannot continue the same way year after year after year. We have to have change.
Yes.
And so that is our goal, is to shake up the special ed system to do better for our students and our kids. And we're all moms of neurodivergent children.
Mm-hmm.
We each have 2 boys.
Yes. So 8 boys between us. We're boy moms. So it's exciting. So I think that's what kind of brought us all together, was the same common interest, and realizing that navigating through the special education system is difficult.
Yeah.
It's hard when you don't know what to do. It's hard when you're told, you have a mom gut feeling that something just isn't right. And you're constantly told, oh, it'll take time. They'll get there.
Correct.
And you don't even know where to begin.
Mm-hmm.
So we really want to empower our parents out there nationwide to know what to look for, how to advocate, what to ask for, how to get into the system, essentially, and how to get going.
And just also to clarify, these are our lived experiences. We're not giving any legal advice. These are our individual stories and what we've gone through. And Jamie did say, this is not towards any district. This is a broken system nationwide. Mm-hmm. This is not just districts that we're in. It's just, something that is happening everywhere.
Yes.
And to all of our students and parents. And we just want to empower.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. And we are in California. Yes. And so there are specific ed code things that we may mention that are California related. Mm-hmm. But when it comes down to a 504 and an IEP, that is a federal document. So most of the stuff will apply nationwide across the United States. So,
yep.
Yeah.
And do we want to go in and introduce ourselves a little bit more, not just our names, kind of our background?
Yeah, Natalie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah, I'll start. So I've been in education. I'm a teacher. I've been an educator for 20 years. I've taught from kinder to 8th grade. I'm currently teaching kindergarten. Immediately when I started on my journey as an educator, I wanted to have that advocate side. It just came very natural to me to look at the kids in my classroom that were struggling and really want to support and help them, and make sure that I was giving them the best that I could in the classroom, and that they were also receiving the services that they deserved. My role as a teacher, which happens to most educators when they have their own children, became even more passionate, and I became even more of an advocate when I had my own children. I became a mom of 2 boys, and my first son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at age 4. And then, so he's on a 504. And I also have a son who has severe stuttering and ADHD, and he is on an IEP for that. And there is nothing like having that table turned on you, going from being an educator in an IEP setting, being part of the team, certainly a huge part of the team. The teacher's input is very important, to becoming the parent. Having that turned on you is a different lived experience. And I struggled with it a little bit. It was emotional, it was difficult, and it made me reflect as an educator that we need to do better in the system. Mm-hmm. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Amazing.
Randa.
Okay, so I'm going to share next. And again, my name is Randa. I have 15 years of banking experience prior to me having my second child. And I also have a bachelor's degree in business administration. I also serve on the Special Education Community Advisory Committee. And
Can you emphasize on CAC a little
sure.
bit?
So CAC is a group that advises the special education SELPA, who's the director of special education in a school district, on any types of disability issues, things that we want to
issues.
advocate for the district for change, such as inclusion, such as sports for kids, anything related to special education.
And that is a state mandated
Group.
Yes.
Correct.
for the state of California that every SELPA is required to have.
So, quick question: is it only for California, or is it like a nationwide that CAC is for?
I don't
other
know.
other states?
I'm
That's a
not
good
sure about
question.
other
I'm not sure
states.
either, yeah,
But
Okay.
if there's not, there should be. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that
Look
that
into
would be
that.
a great thing.
Look into that.
Yeah. So, and before I joined the CAC, I'm a mom of 2 boys. And with my first child, he was delayed, but I didn't think he was delayed. I was always told he's a boy. Boys just learn slower. But I did navigate the medical system quite easily. And this was over, 16 years ago when the diagnosis of autism wasn't as prevalent as it is now. And so I got the diagnosis at 2 years old for him. He got into regional center, which is specific to California, where you get services such as ABA, speech, and OT. And we got that in the home. And when he turned 3 years old, that's when the transition went into the public school system. When I transitioned him to the public school system, they provide you a preschool special education program. And I learned from that point that I needed to advocate quite quickly. For example, teacher forgot to put him on the bus one day. So it was quite quickly that I learned that I needed to speak up for my child, which I wasn't quite used to. I was always kind of more reserved. So I had to learn to navigate being more opinionated and putting my mom gut to
A
work.
little bit assertive.
Yeah.
You have to be a little assertive.
Yeah. So then, I really advocated for my child to be in general education. So he was in special education only for preschool. So my son currently has an autism diagnosis. So he is in general ed. He's been in general ed since TK. So imagine how hard I fought for my child from TK, and now he's going into being his junior year on the diploma track for the UC CSU program. So
okay.
he is very, very adamant on wanting to apply to colleges and to being like everybody else. And
that's
he
amazing.
deserves it.
So, Randa,
Absolutely.
Love
you
that.
said you have fought.
Yes.
No, I think you're currently still fighting.
I am.
So clarify that.
My bad.
stop.
So let me just say, throughout the years, I've hired numerous advocates to help me.
Yeah.
It got to the point where COVID hit, and obviously everybody went through a disaster with COVID, with their kids learning in home. But our kids that are neurodivergent learn at a different level if we're going to be teaching them from home. And I struggled so hard with that at home. And getting services for him at home was not being given to our kids. It was all just done virtual. And our kids can't learn that way. It's very hard. I mean, some kids can. I'm not going to take that away from certain kids. But I had to hire an attorney at that point. And I fought really hard, and I went with my gut, and I just went for it. And currently I do advocate for my son, and I'm still advocating. Even till this day, I have teachers that are just not open. And this is what we need. We need teachers to be more open to our students being in their classroom. We need to get away from the segregation. So the advocating will never stop. I'm sure I'm going to be
Yeah.
advocating through college.
You will be.
Yeah.
And I think that that advocacy for us is in our heart. It's our passion. It's we can't just turn it off.
Mm-mm.
No.
Branda, you mentioned regional center in California. So can you is it countywide? Is that
So
how it works?
Yeah.
So
Or how does it work?
it's a state. I believe there's 21 regional centers in
Okay.
California. So they're split up by counties. So I used to live in one city when my older son was born. So it was like San Gabriel Regional Center. And then when I transitioned to living in Riverside County, then it became Inland Regional Center.
Which is San Bernardino and Riverside
Correct.
County. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I also started within the regional center, my
Okay.
son, my oldest, actually both did. I kind of was a little bit fortunate because I have 2 nieces that are on the spectrum. And so, their mom, my aunt, she really, I was hyper aware of them because I watched them a lot. And I saw the struggles that she went through. And they were both in the regional center. And so then, and I also was a special education student, had learning disabilities. And so when my oldest was not speaking, I was hyper aware really, really, really quick. But you do hear everybody tells you like, oh, don't worry. My cousin's ice cream man's barber didn't speak until they were 5. They're
Right.
great.
Oh
They're
my
fine now.
goodness.
So you have to use your mom gut and
Yeah.
know. And so because of the challenging experiences that my aunt had, which was many years ago, her children are adults now in their 30s. She had an advocate. So I hired an advocate right away. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to hire an advocate. And it was like, at the time, this was quite a few years ago, but almost 15 years ago. But it was like $2,000 or $2,500 for the retainer.
Yeah.
And that that was like for the lifetime or their educational system. But then you pay for each
The
meeting that they
meeting.
attend
Correct.
and things like that.
Yeah.
So he really helped me navigate through the regional center to make sure that we got appropriate services. And then once he turned 3, into the school district, into getting appropriate services as well. But I'll say I'm a people pleaser, and it was mortifying sitting in that room with him, being so, I'll say like blunt, and I felt rude.
Yeah.
But he was, I get now why he was doing that, but I wanted to crawl under the table and die. I was like, oh my gosh. And then like he would leave the room and I'd be apologizing, like, I'm so sorry. It was like good cop, bad cop type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned so much just from the few meetings that I had him, and I got everything. He was amazing and he's really good at his job. But I haven't needed him since, because I've just learned how to advocate now for myself and for my children. And so he gave me the foundation. And so that's what we want to give you guys.
Yeah.
We want to give you the foundation to where maybe you won't need to spend money on an advocate, and you can
Absolutely.
truly do it on your own.
Yes.
And then once my son was in elementary school, his resource teacher told me about this group's, the CAC. And it was close to around COVID time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was virtual, and I was watching this group and I was like, oh my gosh, this group is like a train wreck. Like,
I remember that.
It's funny because we actually
Yes.
messaged each other.
we were messaging each other,
that's
didn't know
when
each other on Facebook.
I think I just joined as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we found each other on Facebook, and
Yeah.
we were messaging each other like, what is going on with this group? And we were like, I don't know, but we need to get on it
Yeah.
to like, maybe we can steer it in the right direction, because it was just kind of going off the wrong course. And so that's how Violet and I got to know each
Yeah.
other. So we both
Yeah.
joined the CAC around the same time, and you were already on there, but you were
Yes.
not part of the problem.
Yeah. But
And
because I was just
some
like,
other people that were never on it. We never actually served
Maybe
on
that
it
could
with
be another
them.
episode about CAC.
But
in the future.
anyway, that's how we started talking and got to know
Yeah.
each other.
That's
Was
how we
through our
kinda
similar
learned. Yeah.
experiences with both of our boys and being
Yeah.
dyslexic
Yes.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
So then I have a second child, and I held him. He was he was a handful from the day he was born. He came into this world mighty and strong. And so I was also like, something's just not right. And thankfully, he was supposed to start kindergarten virtually during COVID. But my husband and I talked, we made the decision like, no, he needs to really, we need to hold him. He cannot do virtual learning. Like he would not sit still for anything. I can't imagine him
This
on the
is going
computer.
into kindergarten? you
This
said?
is going into
Okay.
kinder. So he did regional center too for speech, but then I caught his super early. Like he was like 18 months already in regional center, that by the time it was time for him to transition to the school district, he didn't need it anymore. He had been caught up on the speech and OT and everything like that. So early intervention, it's a game changer. It
Key,
works.
yes.
That's the
Key.
goal. So he was in a private preschool, and thankfully they only closed a short amount of time, and then they opened back up as soon as they could. So we kept him there an extra year. And then at the time we registered him for private kindergarten because it was still virtual, and I wasn't confident that they were going to open back up, that the public schools were going to be open yet.
Mhm.
So I just went ahead and kept him there for kindergarten. And by that time the schools were open, but I still, during even kindergarten, I was like, there's something, he's still not catching it. He's still not getting his sounds and things like that. So I requested through the public school to go do an assessment on him. So even if your student is in a private school, your public school is still required to do an assessment.
Correct.
Oh.
So they went to the private school and they assessed him and stuff. And then at that point, he qualified for an IEP. So then starting first grade, he already had an IEP in place to start off first grade in public. So that's kind of the beginning. I'm not going to go. We have tons of episodes to get
Yes.
into the whole story.
Do you want to
Talk
give us a
more.
background of you?
So my background is I am, I've just been a natural, well, first of all, I am a special education student. So college was not like my jam at all. It was a struggle. And back then, like in the 90s, they didn't have the programs and everything that they have now. So I was a more hands-on learner. So I went to trade school. I became an EMT and then promoted up very quickly within that and became director of operations for an ambulance company for years. And then once I had my kids, my first son, the hours were too crazy. So then I decided to get into real estate and I became a real estate agent. But the whole time I was always super involved in my community. And that's the way that I was raised. My grandparents and my parent were super involved within the community. So I've always been like kind of a community advocate. Well, through all of this and navigating through the special ed system, I had an interest within running for school board because I was like, I'm not just going to sit back and complain about it. Like I'm going to make change. And so I ran and I'm now on a school board. And so it's been really great because I had a lot of preconceptions and things of the way that they did things. But now being on this side, I see both sides of it. I know what it's like to be sitting on across the table as a parent, but then I also see some of the challenges on the district side too. So it's been really beneficial because I'm able to point things out within the district. Like you guys don't know what it's like to be across the table. Like until you're
Right.
sitting across that table crying because you're hearing all the struggles that your child is having. Like you need to like realize what that parent is going through.
Yeah.
And so it's been great. It's our district is making changes, positive changes. It's taking a long time though.
Yes.
It's like making a cruise ship make a
Snail.
U-turn. It's a huge beast, but at least I'm there and I have a strong voice and I'm going to make sure that our students get what they need. So
All of our students.
Yep.
Definitely.
everyone.
Yep. So
Tell us about you, Violet.
Let's go into me. I feel like you guys, everything you've shared, I mean, it's the same, copy and paste. So I've got 2 kids on IEPs. One of my boys is a little bit higher needs than the other one. And it has been a struggle. It's been a process. My son was not diagnosed right away, even though I knew early on, 9 months, that there was something off, and took him to a pediatric neurologist at 18 months to get assessed, and was like, nope, he's good. He just has a speech delay. Just got dismissed and dismissed and dismissed. When he was in kindergarten, this is my older child. He was getting speech services, went into the school system in our district at 3 years old, did not qualify for a regional center because took him to get evaluated there. He didn't, and was getting speech only. But I'm like, there's something going on. I know there's something. I know. And when he was in kindergarten, he also wasn't grasping the letter sounds. There was just a lot of stuff that red flags, and just kept getting dismissed. And they decided to move him to TK. So instead of having him evaluated and really finding out what was going on with him, they moved him down to TK. And then I started the process of maybe he has ADHD, which finally we got a diagnosis of ADHD. Then later down the road, found out he had dyslexia. And then later down the road, he's 13 right now. So maybe almost 3 years ago, he got diagnosed with autism level 1. And through this whole process, of this journey, I also found out that I'm neurodivergent and that I also have ADHD. And so many things made sense. Like looking at my son and seeing how much he struggled, and, things that I've struggled to when I was a kid in school. And just kind of like what Jamie mentioned, I was so motivated to go to college. I was so motivated to become a paralegal and, all of these things. But school was hard for me. It was so hard. And I just never understood why it was hard. Then I had to go into working full time. And now I'm trying to get back to school to hopefully, finish. And advocacy is my passion. It really is. And looking at it, not just in special education with my children, but just in general, advocacy, I feel like has just always been my passion with a lot of other things. And my youngest as well, like I mentioned, in an IEP, he has a speech impairment, a speech delay, and also has dyslexia and has ADHD. So it's been a process, going through the system, being gaslit, dismissed. It's so hard to sit in meetings and not feel emotional because this is your child, and this is their future that you're advocating for them, right? And I think that the emotion sometimes gets the best of you. I've gotten better though, but I still have my moments. But yeah, it's I feel like, what you ladies have said, it's been kind of a similar journey as I have. So,
and you've also hired an advocate.
Yes, right? I do have an advocate. Also hire an attorney. And I think that's just going to be how it is, unfortunately. Like I said,
sometimes I feel like we need the advocate to help ground us sometimes.
Yeah.
And then kind of reel us back in. Okay, this is what you should be saying. This is what you should be fighting for. Not that it's a fight, but to us as a parent, it feels like a fight.
It.
Right?
And, for me, I'm not trying to go in here and attack anybody.
Right.
Right. It's not a personal thing.
We're fighting for advocacy for our students.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Not against people.
Yes. And the one thing that I've said in the past is I also want to advocate for our teachers. Because as you mentioned, they need, to learn things that maybe they don't know because they don't have children that are neurodivergent or they're in special ed. And once you're living it, how it is.
Right.
And I know that there are teachers that are empathetic and some teachers that just
are not.
And that's hard. And again, I'm never here to attack anybody or to attack teachers. I actually want to help. I want to help the system. Absolutely. I want to help. Yeah. Let's do better. Let's work together. I am not this combative mother that's going to be, trying to fight you and make your life harder,
Yeah.
you know, because I don't. Like, what can I do to help you? You know?
And I've told you guys, and you guys have been like super open to this conversation that, you know, I really feel as though if teachers felt more support, like right now, desperately teachers need more support
Mhm.
or they're not going to feel more empathetic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
because right now there may be some that are definitely
Yeah.
shut
Closed
down,
off.
Yeah.
turned off because they feel like if they have a student in their class and they don't know how to meet their needs, I mean, as a teacher, you feel like a failure. So,
And I think that students are getting more diagnosed, right? There's more diagnosis, more ADHD. We're more aware of what
Exactly.
it
That's
was
what it is. Mhm.
than what it was like 30 years ago.
Mhm.
Right.
And when teachers go into the profession, they have the option, right, to become a special education teacher or a general education teacher. And that's the
Mhm.
two different like kind of routes, right? I mean, I know
Mhm.
there's more than that. But so a lot of them are like, I didn't become a special education teacher,
yes,
right?
I hear this a
But
lot.
the
Mhm.
thing is that we have to get beyond that now
Mhm.
and
Yes.
realize that every single one of our students are all general education students.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
They all
not,
belong.
They all belong in and they just need some different supports and services, and they may be considered on paper special education students. But we have to remember every single student starts off as a general education
Mhm.
student. But it's going to take time to get teachers to understand that. And as districts, we have to do better to support our teachers.
100%. Yeah,
We
that's
need
what
to
I
give
was
them
gonna
more
say.
training.
Yeah.
We
Exactly.
need to give them.
But they have to also,
exactly.
but here's my thing that I would say is they need to be willing to go to the training, not just look at it and be like, oh, that's a special education teacher's training, not
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah.
We need to be more
right.
open that you're going to have more students on IEPs in your classroom
Yeah.
because they belong. And when our kids graduate high school, is there a separate workforce? No, there's not. Is there separate
You're
residential
preparing them.
placement? Yeah, there is for some, right? But we all live together.
Mhm.
Look at you're neurodivergent, you're neurodivergent. Like we're here together. We're not
Yes.
here
Yes.
separately.
Mhm.
And that's what we need to start bridging the gap.
I'm glad
100%.
you brought that post-secondary up because again, that's another big goal in special education that we don't really think about as educators. I think parents think about it, but maybe in education, we don't think about like the goal is when a parent has a child that has a disability, their goal is that they're going to go to college and be a fully functioning citizen, just like everybody else. That's, and as a parent, that's what you're trying to do, no matter what your child's needs are. My
Yeah.
child has medical needs and I want him to be, it bothers them that he can't be a pilot. But I want him to have the, opportunities and understand that he can do a lot of things with his medical diagnosis. So
Natalie, opportunities. Bingo.
there you
Right
go.
on the head.
Yes. So
Opportunities.
that's something that
That's
parents
what
think
we
about.
want. Opportunities.
But that's something that parents think about. But I really want the education system to be thinking
No,
about that
absolutely.
Yes.
post-secondary lens. And
Yes.
everybody that we've seen that's been successful, we have seen some
Mhm.
success stories with inclusion. They always say
Yes.
that they're like post-secondary.
I think that our children, we have them for their entire lives, right? Their
Yes.
entire lives. Teachers only have them for a year. So the teachers need to change their thought process of it's not just this year. They need to look at the bigger picture of
Who are you going to have next year, the year
Yeah.
after?
Yeah, but just more of yes, when you're talking about things the teacher's well, for this year, but for us, it's a bigger picture.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
teachers need to, and admin and everybody that's in on our IET meeting needs to understand that when we're in there asking for these things, it's beyond the year.
Yes.
We're looking
Yes.
for their future to set them up for
100%.
success. Where I think sometimes during the IEP, they can get so focused on this year and these goals. Well, we
Right.
need to look
Mhm.
and that's why I think sometimes it's frustrating because you're there's still beyond these goals and beyond what they can do academically or to get them to survive within the school day. we need them to survive in life.
Right.
Mhm.
And I think this is like the perfect point to end on,
Mhm.
and a great segue, because we have successfully navigated our first episode here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we got to that post-secondary part and just being moms and wanting the best for our children.
Absolutely. This was exciting. I
Yeah,
can't wait
it's
for more.
exciting.
We have so many more stories, so many more tips, tricks that we're going to be able to share. This is just the beginning.
Yes.
It is. So we hope you guys stay tuned.
Please like
Yes.
and follow.
Like, follow, and share.
Thank
We're
you.
on Instagram,
TikTok.
and TikTok, and YouTube.
We'll see you guys next time on the District Disruptors. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.